Hey guys, Outdoor Prepper here. I want to welcome you back to the channel, and I want to talk a little bit today about this Predator 5000 dual fuel inverter generator and how this, I think, is going to be the solution to power my home in the event of a power outage. So what we've got right here, just so we can start off, is the unit, and I've bought a cover for it, but actually let me pan around and just show you the cover, because Harbor Freight does not sell covers for the generators. So this is actually a Champion cover, and it fits the Predator pretty well. Let me just adjust the camera here. It fits it pretty well. I'll even give you the model number of the cover in case you're interested in buying one. And it's even got two little zips here, which actually correspond with the handles of the generator. So let's just go ahead and remove this so you can see what we're working with in terms of the generator. And let's get you the model or the part number. So this generator cover from Champion, if you're interested, it is part number GV610. It's nice, it's padded on the inside, and it fits the Predator 5000 perfectly, like a glove, I would say. So let's continue to walk around the generator. The reason why I think this is the perfect generator for your house for an emergency, it's kind of toofold. So this generator is an inverter, so it produces very clean power, and clean as in a perfect sine wave, kind of like what you would get from the utility company, as opposed to a more traditional generator that uses a spring to kind of maintain RPM to keep you at 60 hertz. This does all of that electronically and digitally, so your power output is very clean, and that's important because a lot of times, newer appliances, furnaces, refrigerators, especially computers, they want clean power. And dirty power, when I say dirty, I mean not a pure sine wave, that will oftentimes trip out some of these appliances or electronics, or even if you have like an APC, like a UPS, it might sense dirty power and constantly trip on and off to correct the power situation. Let's just kind of lower the camera a little bit here. I just want to zoom in and show you a little bit of the controls here. And we're going to talk about the cost of this generator, the cost of the entire setup, and why I think really this might be the perfect solution. So I've zoomed in a little bit here, and I want you to see these numbers here, because again, I think this is the perfect solution for cost and ease of setup and simplicity to power basically the whole house. And when I say whole house, there's a caveat to that, and we'll get to that. But we're looking here at the numbers, and we've got 5,000 max starting watts. So that means whatever your loads are, you can have a max of 5,000 watts, but that's a momentary load. So like when a refrigerator kicks in, or an air conditioner kicks in, or a compressor kicks in, there's a surge. And so if that device uses 500 watts running, when you turn it on, it might spike to 1,000 watts just for a moment as the motor is starting, or the load is starting. Below that, it says 3,900 running watts in gasoline and 3,600 running watts on propane. So basically what that means is, as you're running, all the equipment is turned on, the compressors have kicked in, now you're just maintaining 3,900 watts gas, 3,600 propane. Those are the numbers that you really have to focus on. So you want to make sure that all of your devices that you plan to power in your home don't exceed 3,900 on gas or 3,600 if you're running on propane. Now, the truth of the matter is, for the average home, those numbers are totally acceptable. People go out and they buy these massive 9,000, 10,000, 12,000 watt generators, whole house units, and there's a place for that. I don't disagree with that. But during a crisis, during a power failure, a power outage, a storm, a hurricane, it may be difficult to get fuel. You may not be able to just run to the gas station and feed that 9,000 watt generator 6 gallons a day, 7 gallons a day. But a unit like this will sip fuel, and it will power the stuff that you need. So let's talk about what might be some of your load requirements, in your home during an outage. So during an outage, some of the things you might want to power, obviously, are your refrigerator. You want to keep, your food cold. You want to keep drinks cold. Maybe it's the dead of summer and a hurricane just blew through. You want to run a stove, a microwave, a toaster. You want to be able to cook. You're going to want to keep the lights on. You're going to want to keep the TV on, or a radio, or a computer. You're going to, some creature comforts. What are you not going to probably need? Probably not going to need the dishwasher. You may not need the washer and dryer. You know, those are pretty heavy load items, so you're probably not going to want to use those during an outage. This can easily power your fridge, easily. I mean, no questions asked. The fridge running, it's probably going to draw about 500 watts, give or take. And then when the compressor stops, it's going to go down to maybe 0 or maybe 10. When you open the door, obviously the lights come on the refrigerator. So your fridge usage is pretty low. There is a startup surge on the fridge, so you got to factor that in, but it's pretty low. Lights, if you get LED bulbs, you're talking about maximum 10 watts per bulb. So that's nothing. You could power the whole house for maybe 200 watts. TV, 50 watts, 100 watts. Cable box, 20 watts. A window AC. Window AC can take some power. That could take maybe, 900 watts running, sustained, depending on the type of AC you have. And then there's going to be a surge. Again, this can handle that. Toaster oven. Toaster takes a decent amount of power. So if you're using the toaster, you also don't want to use the microwave and the coffee maker at the same time, and the hair dryer. Reason being, a toaster takes about 1,000, 1,200 watts, microwave 1,000, 1,200 watts, hair dryer 1,000, 1,200 watts. So again, you've got to be selective. You can power all these devices, but if you're using the toaster, don't go upstairs and turn on the hair dryer and start blow drying your hair while you're making coffee. You've just got to, in your head, be mindful of the wattage use. The other thing I want to talk about before we, drag this over to the house and we're going to set it up, we're going to power the transfer switch. We're going to talk about the cost associated with buying this unit, buying the transfer switch, getting everything set up so you can run your house in an emergency. I'm going to go over the full cost of everything. That way you know if this is the right unit for you. But the last thing I want to talk about before we drag this over to the house is kind of the fuel consumption and the fuel usage. What realistically can you expect to get out of this generator in terms of runtime? So on gasoline, this takes about a 3-gallon tank, give or take. And on gasoline, you can get at a quarter load 18 hours of runtime, which is pretty good. Now keep in mind, the quarter load is a quarter of 3,900 watts. So do the math, and a quarter of that is how this is rated for the runtime. For propane, you're running at 3,600 watts, and you can basically get, on a 20-pound barbecue tank, you can basically assume you can get about 10 to 12 hours runtime. And again, that's pretty convenient because A, barbecue tanks are everywhere, and propane you can store basically indefinitely. Whereas gasoline, you've got to put fuel stabilizer every 6 months to a year. You need to circulate that fuel, refresh it, put new fuel in. The propane, you can fill a tank and put it in your shed and leave it there for the next 20 years, and when you need it, it's going to work. So fuel usage is very important. Again, during a crisis, on 3 gallons, I can run about 18 hours at a quarter load. That's amazing. You take one of those 12,000 watt generators, and in 18 hours, you're going to have burned, 6, 8, 10 gallons of fuel. That's a lot of fuel. You may not have the ability to get to the gas station and get more. The gas station might be out of power. There might be trees blocking the road. So you've got to factor all of this in. And for all of those reasons, that's why I think the Predator 5000 dual fuel inverter is really the solid choice here. Finally, this is a really quiet generator. Yes, during a crisis, you're probably not concerned about noise, and upsetting the neighbors, but maybe you don't want people to hear it because you don't want people to know you have it so they don't have to steal it. So this is a pretty quiet unit, and it's also encased here. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and move this closer to the house. I'm going to take a propane tank out, and we're going to talk about the setup. We're going to talk about the cost. We're going to hook it up to the transfer switch, and we're going to run it through its paces. All right, guys, so we're out here on the patio. I've moved the generator from the garage and wheeled it over here. It's pretty easy to move. Right down there, that's a handle. You just pull it out, kind of like a luggage handle, and you lift the whole unit up and just pull it. It's very easy to move around. So I want to show you, what do you need? What do you have to buy? Let's say you're thinking about this generator. You've decided, all right, this sounds like a good idea. I should have a plan to power my house, power some fans, air conditioner, whatever. What do I have to buy? How much does it cost? So basically everything that you're going to need is right out here on the patio. So you're going to need the generator. And the generator from Harbor Freight, This unit is regularly priced at $1,099. So figure 1,100 bucks. Realistically, this goes on sale all the time. There's always a 20% off, there's always a sale. I picked this up at Harbor Freight for, I think it was about 900 bucks, and that was on sale. So you can regularly just wait, it'll go on sale, you'll pick it up. It's got, again, the gasoline tank right on top and right on the control panel, and you'll see it in a little bit because we'll hook it up. It's got a little nub for the propane. You're gonna need a propane tank. Either, pick up a barbecue tank, pick up a 30-pound tank, or get gasoline. That's up to you. So however you want to run that, that's on you. We won't factor that into the cost. You're going to need, coming over here to the table, you're going to need the regulator if you're going to use propane. This comes with the generator, so you do not need to buy that. And the way this works, and again, we'll hook it up in a minute and show you. This screws into the propane tank, and then this piece right here with a quick connect literally just plugs into the generator and snaps in. That's all you got to do to hook it up to propane. Then you're going to need a cable to connect this to a transfer switch. What you can do, and let me just move the camera here again just to show you. So you got a couple of options here. You can take the generator, and if we look here, right here is a standard outlet, and right here is a travel trailer outlet. Let me open these up so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is your standard outlet that you're used to in your house. So you can just plug in your devices and use that. I don't really recommend that. What I recommend is using this outlet. This is the travel trailer outlet. Now this obviously does not connect to a transfer switch. So what you're going to need is an adapter cable to connect that. And let me show you what that cable looks like. Let me just zoom out here. So this cable right here, it's like a 1-foot cable. I bought this on Amazon. It's made by AC Works. So if you just Google AC Works connector, and what it does is it converts a travel trailer plug to a twist lock outlet. This is an L1430R. So you want L1430R to a TT30 for the travel trailer. And when you do that, all you have to do is plug this in, just like that. And now this plug right here, you're going to buy another cable. Now this is a short one that I just happen to have laying around in the garage, but the one you're going to buy presumably would be a 25-foot cable. That'll cost you about 50 bucks at Harbor Freight, and that adapter right there is about $30. So just again, to recap, we're about $900 for the generator, $30 for that cable, $50 for this 25-foot cable that you're going to buy. And then you're going to take this cable. You're literally going to plug it in. This is a twist lock, so you plug it in and twist it until it locks. And then this other cable, or I'm sorry, the other end of the cable, right here, is going to plug into the transfer switch. Let's turn around here and show you the transfer switch. So this I had mounted on the outside of my house, and this is basically the inlet. So you open this up, and this plugs right in. You just have to line everything up. So you plug that in and twist it so it's locked in, you can't pull it out. And now you're basically all connected. Now we just have to connect the propane. And then we're going to talk real quick before we start this about the cost of the transfer switch, and I'll give you a total breakdown of what everything is going to cost. So I want to show you again just how easy this is. A lot of people say, oh, I need a whole house generator because, my wife can't pull this out and hook everything up. Guys, this is so easy. You pull it out from the garage, you plug in a cable, you plug in another cable, you take this, all you do is remove this little dust cover, you plug this in, it snaps in, you hook this up to the tank, all you have to do is twist it, you turn the tank on, and then literally the only thing you need to do to turn this generator on is that red switch right there. You flip that to on, And then where it says start stop, you just press the button. That's all you have to do. That is how simple this is to set up. Well, let's just talk about the transfer switch real fast, and then I'll give you a total price of everything. So, recap. Generator, 900 bucks. The 25-foot cable, 50 bucks. That orange adapter, $30. You're going to need oil for the generator. That's about 5 bucks depending on where you go. This takes 10W30. The transfer switch itself, I have a Reliance 10-circuit transfer switch, and that basically means you can select 10 circuits in your house and power those. That was about $300, and then to get that installed by an electrician, that was about 400 bucks. All in, everything. $1,685, you have basically purchased this whole setup to power your house. That's not a lot of money. Think about how much money you're going to lose in food in a 24-hour power outage. Everything in your fridge, you've probably got $300, $400, $500 worth of food, $600 worth of food in your fridge. And if you've got a family, you've got kids, so that's half the cost right there you've lost just by not having a generator. And then talk about your convenience factors, the fan, the air conditioning, the TV, just your quality of life. Your quality of life, it's really worth it. A whole house unit, yeah, those are great, but those are going to set you back, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. So for $1,685, you've got a pretty good deal here. Now, what can this not power? This is not a 240 volt generator. So if you've got a well pump that runs on 240, if you've got central air that you want to power that runs on 240, if you want to power that electric dryer or that electric stove, this is not going to be your generator. The setup will remain the same. You'll just want to purchase a generator that can produce 240. And they sell those. Harbor Freight sells them. You can get a 9,000 watt 240 generator. You can get a more conventional Harbor Freight Predator, a Champion, a Westinghouse. Again, setup will remain the same. Transfer switch cables, you won't need that adapter, but you'll need a different unit if you need 240. So why don't we do this? Let's start this up. I'll show you just how easy this is. Then we're going to go downstairs. I'm going to show you the transfer switch, and we'll flip a circuit over just so you can see the generator working in action. And again, real easy to start. We're going to turn the red switch on. This also has remote start. It's got a little remote control, so you could be inside and turn this on or off. And then we're going to press the start button. Now, a little caveat here. This is propane. So when you start it on propane, there's going to be air in the line, and the air has got to get purged. So it may not start on the first try. If it doesn't, we're just going to try it a second, maybe a third, probably not a third. But again, when there's air in the line, it does have to bleed it out. So you got to press this button twice. Let's see if it starts. Maybe it's going to take the second try. That's okay. We're going to take a third try here. And that's it. We're on. All we have to do is press that button. Now, if you don't want to use the electric start, there is a manual pull start. It's right on the side. It's right over there. You can pull it if you want. I think the electric start is just so much easier. Now, this also has eco mode, and to the right of that push to start button, there's a tiny little knob or a tiny little switch right. It's right about there, and it says off or on. So that's eco mode, and that basically throttles the engine up or down depending on the load requirement. So right now it's off, meaning the generator is running at full power. And guys, I know it's hard to tell on the camera, but this is really, really quiet. If we put that switch to on, what it does is it's going to lower the RPM. And hear how it just kind of came down a little bit? Because with an inverter, you run based on the power usage. So right now this is not powering anything, so we don't really need to keep it at full RPM. If we're going to power an air conditioner, this is going to sense the load and say, oh, I need more power, and it's automatically going to raise the RPM. And the benefit of that is you preserve a lot of fuel. A traditional generator, you're running at 3,600 RPM if you have a light bulb powered. or an air compressor. And those two things take vastly different wattages. So you don't want to burn all that fuel unnecessarily. So with an inverter here, you're saving fuel. So let's just go turn this off, because again, we're just testing it here. So while this is running now, and it's up to speed, it's warmed up, we can see on the gauge it's outputting 125 watts. And this is an interactive gauge. There's a little button down there on the side that we can press. It'll show you wattage, amperage, hours of runtime, hertz. So everything you need to know about the unit is displayable on that gauge. So let's go downstairs. Let's look at the panel, and we'll switch over to a lighting circuit. That way you guys can kind of see in real time that this works. Okay, we're coming downstairs to the electrical panel. I just want to show you what we've got going on here, because this is really something that you can get as well for your house. So this is the electrical panel right here, and these are all the circuits. And they sell different types of transfer switches. They sell one where you can basically power the whole panel, but you've got to move an interlock. But the problem with that is this panel is 240 volts. So there's some circuits on here that are 240. And that generator is not a 240 generator. So for example, that's a 240. That's not a 240 generator, because during a power outage, there's nothing I need to power that's 240 volts. Yeah, we've got an electric dryer that is certainly 240, but we don't need that during a power outage. So this is a Reliance transfer switch, and basically what it does is you select 10 circuits on here that you want to power, the refrigerator, the natural gas stove, the lights, the furnace, whatever those 10 circuits are, and then they get rerouted to come through here. So in the event of a loss of electrical power from the street, so if that cable goes dead, right, because the pole falls down and this panel is dead, well, those 10 circuits can now get powered from the generator. And this orange cord here is actually coming in from the generator. So if we look here, you can see that I have selected 10 circuits that I want to power. The fridge, the master bedroom, these are all lights, clock, TV, the oven. This is a natural gas oven. So we really just need the power for the igniter, for the light in the oven, the convection fan. Basement, this is a lighting circuit, and we're going to test this one in just a moment. The sunroom, this is a television, cable box, some lights. Master bathroom, these are lights for the bathroom. GFI, this is the plug right here on the panel. This controls the Verizon TV and internet. Lights for the kitchen, lights for the son's rooms, and again the furnace. So again, that's the panel, that's the sub panel, or the transfer switch panel. And down here, these are just two gauges. So each side is called a leg, and that generator outside produces 110, 120, not 240. So that adapter, what we're doing with that adapter is we're making two legs, but it's still not a 240 generator. So you can only power 120 devices. So these gauges here will show you how much power you're pulling on each leg. And generally speaking, you want to try to keep it balanced. So you don't want to have the fridge, the air conditioner, the microwave, the toaster, all on one side, and you don't want to have a phone charger on the other side. You want to keep them balanced. And this will help you to determine how much power you're using. And when you select the circuits, keep them balanced. So generator's running. If you can see right here, these switches say gen, off, and line. Line means it's coming from the power company. Off means there's no power, and generator means it's being powered by the generator. So to test the unit outside and to test this whole setup, we're going to take the basement, which is where we are. We're going to flip it up to off, which is in the middle. Then we're going to flip it all the way up to generator, and the lights should come back on. These switches are a little easy to push, so I'm going to try to go off and just stay off, but I may push it all the way to generator. Let's see. Nope. Okay, so now we're off, and now when I flip this up, the lights should come back on generator. And they did. So look at that. So that has proved our point. We're on generator, generator's plugging away, it's using practically no power. There's other people here in the house right now, so I don't want to flip all these switches and turn TVs and refrigerators off and back on. But if this were a power outage, I would just literally come down here, flip everything up, 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 up to generator, and we would be good to go. When we're done, when the power comes back on outside, we're just going to take the switch and flip it to the middle, which is off, and then back to line. Now we're back on street power. So guys, real easy setup, real simple setup. And another benefit here, let's just say for whatever reason, you have a mechanical problem with a portable generator. So the Harbor Freight Predator has a problem, it dies, or Champion has a problem, the Westinghouse has a problem, the Generac has a problem, whatever the issue is. You can just go to the store and buy a new one, or you can get it repaired. If your whole house unit has a problem, that's a real big issue. You've got to get a tech out here, you could be waiting for parts. That thing is $10,000, $15,000. It's a lot more overhead. For ease of use and cost, you can't beat the Predator. I think it's a wonderful unit. I hope to have this for decades to come. And if we do get a power outage, I'm going to film, in real time, hooking this up again, transferring everything over. We'll see everything working. But again, really recommend it. Let's go upstairs now, and we'll end the video. I'm going to show you how to turn it off, the best way to do that. And if I can ask a favor, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and ring that bell for notifications, because we are going to do more videos, especially if there is an actual power outage. So again, the generator's just plugging away. You have a couple of ways to turn it off now. You can press the start stop button. You can hit the red switch. You can turn that knob, this knob right here, which I have on propane. You can turn it to off, or the best way to turn this off if you're running on propane is you just turn the tank off. Turn the tank off, let it bleed out, and it's going to die any second. And that's it. Now you come over here, you flip the red switch to off so your battery doesn't die. And that's it. You unplug everything, you put it away. Look how easy this is to disconnect the propane. That's it. Disconnected. Unplug it. Unplugged. And now you just put this away in the garage. And the benefit to propane, you don't have to worry about the carburetor getting dirty, gummed up. You don't have to worry about fuel going bad. I'm literally going to wheel this to the garage, let it cool down, put the cover on, and that's it. It'll sit there until we need it. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful. And do me a favor, like, subscribe, leave some comments, and I'll do my best to answer everything.